I'm ready when you are.
Perfect. All right. Hello, everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. My name is Tanner Dagenais, and I am the host of Sabotage Solutions. You're good?
Yeah, just drop me water bottle.
Oh, you're good. Okay. All right. And I'm the host
uh,
of Sabotage Solutions. And actually, today I'm having Nathan Francis back on. Actually, we're doing our thing where we're actually merging our podcast continuation of this. As you guys probably know, we've been on doing a lot of podcasts recently, and we're going to be talking about the best way to fight the system. And it's going to be a great podcast, a lot of truth shared, a lot of um, just honesty and a lot of knowledge that really should be shared. And I think it's going to be really powerful. And I always love having Nathan on here. He's a great truth teller. He's very knowledgeable and just a great friend of mine. So Nathan, thanks for coming on the podcast again.
no worries. Thanks for having me back on. I'm looking forward to today. It's been an interesting morning I've had here at home, but I'm very, very grateful to put all that aside and talk some truth with you. It's good. We're starting to really come out and show our authenticity and show our passion. And yeah, I hope it resonates with a lot of people. Obviously, it is because we're both getting some new subscribers as we keep going. So obviously, our work is resonating with the people out there. It's just living on planet mind control at the moment. So it's time we start building our knowledge and ridding ourselves of this system as we'll talk about. So let's get cracking, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I guess we should probably start with like, what is the system that people are fighting? Right? If people don't know, like, what are you guys talking about fighting the system? What are we really talking about? Right? I'll let you
Yeah.
start if you want.
Oh, I can start. It's basically the system of control that's keeping you enslaved. It's the job you don't like. It's the alcohol. It's the coffee. It's the vaping. It's the porn. It's the OnlyFans. It's the spraying of the food. It's the supermarkets or the grocery stores, as you guys call them. It is, and these aren't really companies. They're companies that are designed to put you off this planet. Like, they're actually trying to kill us here. Like, if people aren't quite grasping this concept yet, everything that's being put here by the government, by the state, whatever, is designed to kill you. It's
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. Like, they are trying to kill us, and they've
Yeah.
done a very, very, very good job. But you got to give the human body some credit here, though. I believe you got to give the human body some credit, because a lot of us are still here, and they're still like they've tried so hard, and we're all still here and we're still functioning. So give yourself a little bit of hug or something and be like, I'm still here. I'm grateful to still be here. But it's time now to look yourself in the mirror and take that first step and rid the first thing of this system out of you, whether it's the alcohol, whether it's the porn, whether it's the spraying of the food, whether it's toxic thoughts, whether it's the job you don't like, whether it's the people around you, whether like this system like is designed to keep you feeling your worst and lowering your vibration. So if you look at the last 3 years of how they actually did this, if we weren't consuming all of this crap, none of this would have happened, because our vibration's higher. Like, it's the spiritual component to this too. Like, they're lowering our vibration to such a point that makes you easier to rule, lie to, manipulate, steal from, and just keep the cycle going. It's like, we'll step off that cycle now and let's all build something better, because right now, humanity, our children, everyone needs something better. It's time. It really is. It's go time now.
Yep. Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, not only they are lowering our vibration, right? They also are keeping us in that short-term thinking,
Yep.
um, non-logical thinking, like long term, right? They're having us all like caffeine on every corner, right? What's caffeine been proven to do? It's been proven to lower the blood flow to your brain by about 40% because it
Mm.
activates the cortisol in your brain, right?
Yep.
So people are literally not thinking logically when they're on caffeine. It's been proven. Um, and a lot of people think, oh no, it's good for me. It's good for me. Well, who put out the studies for the caffeine research, right? This
Yeah.
is this is really what the system is, right? Because the system is like, it's not just one thing, and just like Nathan said, it's pretty much everything. It's the science, it's the school system, it's
Oh
our
yeah.
education system,
The
it's our
media,
government. I think most people know
media,
like the government and
TV.
like
Yeah.
the media. Most people know like the government's corrupt, right? At this point, most people know the government's corrupt.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if the if the government's corrupt, how could these other things not be corrupt as well, right? Because
Exactly.
that corruption spreads out very quickly. And with the way our systems are set up, like especially in Australia, I know that's like the place where they test everything out first, right?
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
But it's even here in America, like hardcore. It's just it is set up in a way like to keep you as a drone bot order follower, 9 to 5. Go do something you don't like school for the whole day. If you try to do something else you don't want, they say no, you have to do this. Then you go into, you get taught to do something you don't like for the whole day, and you go into your job, and now people think that's normal, right? There's a reason why you're depressed. There's a reason why you're obese and you're sick and you're just feeling frustrated with life and you feel maybe empty inside. It's because that's the way the system has set it up to be, right? Think about it, like if we were so advanced and so, if our science was so good, how come we had the highest rates of disease, obesity, depression, anxiety, addiction that we've ever had? It's because the system, like that is what's going on. The system has led us to this point, right?
Yeah. You had Paul Lindards on the other week, and he backed up what I said. The school system is honestly the root cause of everything. Because what are you doing when you have a child? You're palming them away to work a job that you don't like to the state, and then you're letting the state look after them and brainwash them and indoctrinate them and turn them into something that they weren't ever supposed to be. Like I'm in schools at the moment, and this is really, really, really bringing out something in me that's just like there needs to be change, because there's kids in there at the moment that are so imaginative, so creative, that they don't want to be stuck in that classroom. They want to be outside in the dirt, in the sunshine, doing things that they want to do. But if they walk out of the room or they go for they like the teachers and they're like are freaking out, and they're like, that kid's got ADHD because he just can't sit still. No, the kid can't sit still because he doesn't want to obey authority. It's not rocket science. The kid doesn't want to be there. So, we'll just label him with ADHD, label him with some autism, label him with some obsessive defiance disorder. Like, what the fuck? Seriously, like this is the number one issue going on right now. And I'm telling you right now that this system of control could not have taken place if they didn't bring in the school system. The school system is the number one root cause of every single thing that's going on right now.
Spot on.
It's unbelievable.
Where does most of our programming come with, between the ages of 2 and 7? And where are we usually for that part? We're in school. And then even more now, like it's not just school. Like now we have kids on their technology, on TikTok, on things like that, right? And that's literally like when they're not at school, they're programming themselves with like a bunch of garbage stuff. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things out there that is not very good. So like if you're not monitoring what your kid's doing and you don't really understand, how the mind's influenced, it's likely they're getting influenced towards something worse. And that's really important to start to understand how we're influenced, because that's something both me and Nathan teach, is like how to understand the subconscious mind, how it's influenced, and how we can take our power back, right? Because if you don't know this information, then you probably have no idea that you're being influenced. Like when you're watching like Grey's Anatomy, when you're watching Shameless, when you're watching all these shows, right? You have no idea that this is going to be, you're more likely to start taking these same actions that these people are doing. You're just saying, oh, I'm watching some entertainment. Or when you're watching, Marvel, like Marvel's so popular now with like the superheroes, Thor, Avengers and stuff, it's more programming you to get more into like a fight mode. Not necessarily like picking a fight with someone, but like maybe you're going to fight with your wife.
Interesting.
Like I know that was the case for me because I was always all about the Avengers, all about the superhero stuff. And then what does it also lead us to do, right? We're not actually living out our life. We're getting our adventure fix from these shows. We're getting our adventure fix from these video games. We're getting our adventure fix from these other things. And then we don't feel like we need to go out anymore. We're essentially living our life through someone else. And then we're okay saying like, okay, well, it's okay. I don't need to go do anything. I'm just going to stay at home all day now. Right? We don't have that urge to go out anymore because we get our fix from the TV shows.
We do. And if you want to go deeper into it, we're handing out our power away thinking that there's going to be this hero that's going to come and save the day. Like that's what they're programming you. They're programming to believe in this figure that's going to come in here and save the day, clean up everything, and make this place sunshine and rainbows and heaven on earth. It's like, no, we have the power to actually do that. We have the power to make this place heaven on earth. That is our power. And that is that's the reason why we're all here. We're all here to create heaven on earth. And these people have tried so hard to keep us dumbed down for so long through all of these things. But when you watch those superhero shows, you're handing your power away to it's like you have this, it's like they're programming you to believe in this savior that's coming. Same as the religion stuff too, with the Catholic and the Christian and stuff. Yeah, we're going to piss some people off, but it's like, no, you're handing your power away to believe that the second coming of Jesus is going to save the world. We can save the world because we have Jesus, God, whoever, light, source, creation inside of us. It's called the human heart.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
he built us in a way where
we chill out and we go into there, breathe into our heart space, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the power, it's all here inside of us. We tap into that, we can change the world. Yeah. That's our power.
Spot on. I mean, they built us in a way, like the creator, God, whatever you want to call it, right? Build us in a way where we can all create. There's no doubt about it, right? And when we believe that we have to rely on someone else external to do that, that's where we're in the trap, right? Because there is no one person who can save the world. We all have to actually stand up and change the world ourselves. And that, I think one person can have an influence on the world, right? And can get more people to start standing up. But if no one stands up, then that's not going to be a thing. We have to get more people like me and Nathan. We have to get more people who are standing up to the system. And part of that is making sure the system's not inside you. Right, Nathan? So, you know, you got to cut out that alcohol. You got to cut out that caffeine. You got to get all that. You got to start eating healthy again, right? If you're always supporting these companies that are literally poisoning us into an early grave and, you know, putting us under like forms of mind control, like Amazon, Starbucks, all these things, how do you expect things to get better? You're literally giving them your money. You're literally casting a vote every time you spend your money on these things.
Spot on. Look into who owns these companies, and it's the same ones every single time. And then you look into who are the investors in these companies, and it's your government officials that told you to take a jab for your job. Like, it's the same people every time. Like, you can look into it, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Like, they own basically all the major companies that are trying to put you in a grave. Stop feeding that. Like, go and support the local organic food. Like, most towns here in Australia have an organic source of food. In most towns, like I've got a couple here, so I go down there and I support them. And I ask Evan, who owns a shop, where he gets his food from. Like, he knows the farmers. He loves his job. Like, when you go to a supermarket, Tanner, or a grocery store, Walmart for example, and Woolworths here, right? Well, 95% of the people in there hate their job, right? So if we're talking about energy and vibration, right? So they're putting that into the supermarket, into the food. So they're putting that low vibration energy into their food. I don't think that they're consciously aware that they're doing it. They hate their job. So you're going in there, the energy of the whole supermarket is so low. Like, I walked in there yesterday and I had to keep myself up. But if you're going there and buying the fresh fruit and veg, or not really fresh, fruit and veg produce in there, you're eating that low vibration at top of the poison that it is. So, like, you're eating food that's lowering your vibration. We're all energy, as we all say. Like, we are energy. So if we want to keep our energy levels up, wouldn't we want to go and buy food off people that actually enjoy growing it, nurturing it with the love that Paul Anders was talking about? Like, that to me, I'd rather go to pay an extra $1 or $2 more and actually eat food that's going to raise my consciousness and raise my vibration, because I know that it's grown and then it's sold with love.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd rather eat a loving consciousness food than go and eat a supermarket low vibration toxic crap.
Yeah, then you're supporting someone outside the system too, right?
Correct,
you're supporting their own like farmer or someone who's really like not part of the system as much. I really love the idea of supporting like local farmers. You know, that's what we do as well. We try to support local as much as well, and like organic, and, you know, get that raw milk. Like, that's something we should probably talk about here. Like, all the pasteurized dairy products. If you're going to be eating dairy,
organic dairy would be better.
Yeah, you want organic dairy and you want it to be raw. Because when you pasteurize that stuff, and this is the whole thing that they've like, the whole system's corrupt. This is like another example of it, right? the whole pasteurization thing. Oh no, the disease, you're going to get some kind of disease from the cow. Well, if the cow's treated like garbage and kept in like a concentration camp with 100 other cows,
Basically.
then possibly where they're just sitting in
Not eating
kennels of their
grass
own.
either.
Yeah, they're
Eating
sitting in
grains
kennels of
and
their own
wheat.
shit
Yeah.
for years
Yeah.
and years, right? But when you treat an animal with respect and love and don't put antibiotics in it and give it actual grass-fed stuff and sunshine, it's not going to have all these diseases.
No.
And then you want to have raw milk because when you pasteurize it, it actually destroys the enzyme called lactase. And lactase makes it so you can actually digest lactose milk, right? So if you're pasteurizing something, you're literally not getting the enzyme that helps you digest the milk. There's no wonder why we have so many lactose intolerant people because they don't have the enzyme in it.
Yeah, and then those lactose intolerant people are scared to drink real milk that's actually good for them because they're so programmed and so scared of milk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it, Tanner? Like, it's unbelievable that people just don't understand that if you raise these animals properly and with love and with consciousness and you feed them grass and give them sunlight and give them paddocks to run around in, it's like you don't need this. You don't need to drink that stuff. You don't need to eat that stuff. It's like we can build something better and grow our animals and grow our food and grow things with love again, because there's a lot of hate out there at the moment, a lot of fear and hate. And that's how these animals are being raised. And then you're eating that vibration, you're eating that energy. And then, Paul Lindard summed it up beautifully last week, didn't he, with all of that? Absolutely beautifully. You should put the link to that in the bottom.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll put that down in the link below. Because your emotions definitely directly affect you.
They do.
But I don't think a lot of people even think about this stuff, right? Because as we know, 95% of the time they're running from their subconscious mind, which is really just their programs. And what for people that don't really understand what programs are, it's really just the things we've learned over life, right? Like a program and a habit's similar, but it's really like what we're told to do, what society tells us is the best thing to do. That's what a program is. And we're just following that. 95% of your daily thoughts and actions are actually from your subconscious mind. So if you don't know what's in your subconscious mind, if you haven't actively gone through the process of reprogramming and making sure there's good things in there, with our society today, there's a reason why you're unhealthy. There's a reason why every time you try to go to the gym, you end up not going to the gym after a couple months. There's a reason why every time you start eating healthy, you end up in the freezer with a big, tub of ice cream, chowing it down, right? There's a reason why you keep going back to these self-sabotaging habits, and that's the subconscious mind, and that's where your programming comes from, and that really has to do with what your environment is and the things you've been exposed to as you're a kid, when you're in school, from your parents, from TV, from society. And
but you got to deal with that. You've also just got to deal with those, sit with yourself and deal with those emotions too. Like, we're a society that's just suppressing our emotions. Like, I listened. No, not I listened. It's like there's a reason why you're going to the alcohol. There's a reason why you're going to the coffee, the junk food, the porn, the OnlyFans. It's like people are so disconnected with themselves that they're turning to these things as a way to fix me. It's like emotional eating, emotional drinking, doing all these things. It's like the coffee is sedating you. The alcohol is sedating you. It's lowering your vibration, and it's making you easier to rule, lie to, govern, and steal from. You got the conscious awareness, but there's deep emotional reasons as to why you're being drawn to these things. So people like us, self-sabotage coaches, there's so many coaches out there. We have dealt with most or all of our emotions. We can understand deeply why we're drawn to these things. And if you go back to any of our chats, I've spoken about why I was emotionally drawn to porn, why I was emotionally drawn to alcohol, why I was living my worst life was because I hadn't dealt with the inner child and the darkness that I had inside. And it was deep, and I cried it out. Yes, men, it's okay to cry. I spent a long time crying. I only cried last week. It's like we deal with our stuff and our self-worth and our vibration raises. Then we go, I am worthy. I am enough. I can afford organic food. I can afford to be healthy. I can be healthy because I'm safe and I'm okay to be healthy and safe. You know what I mean? Like, people are so disconnected from themselves, and that's why they're drawn to all of this stuff. We just given them the conscious awareness. Now it's time we say, hey, look, There are emotions here, deep-seated emotions, probably back from when you're a child, that need to be dealt with and sat with and cried out. And, you know, a lot of alone time that needs to be had. You know, a lot of people are giving their energy away to other people. It's time to take that energy back and give it to yourself and sit with yourself. You owe it to yourself to change, and you owe it to yourself to sit with yourself and cry whatever you need to cry out. Because if those emotions get held in your body for too long, as Paul Linders has written a book about, and he's bringing out another one, they do cause cancer. Paul has proven that. He has worked with over 100, 200 or 300 people that have had cancer in the last 15 years. And it's the same thing every time. It's just going back to your childhood, going back to something that was really traumatic, or going back to an emotional thing, and it gets stored in your body, and it gets kept there, and it gets repressed. But the people that ruling us want you to repress your emotions. They want you drinking the alcohol. They want you drinking the coffee, and they want you having cancer, and they want you taking the chemo, taking the radiation, and getting blasted off the planet. That's what these people want. They don't want us self-healing. Self-healing is the number one thing that you can do to rid yourself of the system. Heal yourself. If you don't know how, ask for help. Then we give you advice. We're not going to be your doctor or your carer. We're going to have a couple of sessions with you. That's all you need. Go out and be awesome and be great. A lot of people out there have a relationship with their doctor. And as Jason says, the people that go to the doctor the most are the ones that are most sick. I've been to a doctor in 5 years.
Yeah,
I'm the strongest version of myself. I really, really am. I haven't felt this good in years. But I've also with the emotions as well. So if we built this new system, we had this new system, you wouldn't need a doctor. You wouldn't need to go see a doctor once a week for your antibiotics, because you won't need them. Nature, like, people have seemed to have forgotten, they've drifted so far off their path. The old saying, nature is the best medicine. You can get most of these things that you get from your doctor just by eating a set of almonds, or eating stuff that's produced by nature, produced by God, produced by love. Like, we can heal ourselves through food. Then we can deal with the emotions.
Yep. Agreed.
You know
I mean,
what I mean?
it's the way the system's set up, right?
Yeah, it's set up for people to be dependent on. Well, it's time for us to be independent.
Yeah, people have all these ailments, the cancer, the diseases, the like asthma, all those different things, because of the way the system's set up at the end of the day, right? And then
Toxicity.
all the solutions aren't solutions. They don't address the root cause.
No, they don't.
Just like with cancer and radiation and chemo, you know, most of the time people are able to beat cancer through chemo, and it ends up coming back, right? And then they have no option afterwards, and that's why they end up working with something like Paul Linders, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't overcome the problems of the system through the system. It's a sad, you know, unfortunately, like we want to think, and I don't think all people, you know, all doctors, all scientists, all these things, they're all bad people, right?
No, they're not.
Are very highly programmed.
Yes,
but
brainwashed. Yeah.
The thing is, if they do know what's going on, they're not speaking up, then I would say they are bad people. You know, you need to speak up. If there's something going on that's wrong, speak up. Because if no one speaks up, then or if you don't speak up, you're complicit in this problem, right? I think it goes back to the thing of the fact that we're still alive today, even though we're getting poisoned on all levels, you know, through the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides being sprayed on our foods, through the chemtrails in the sky, right? Through the fluoride in the water, through, I mean, the alcohol, the coffee, all the things you can think of, like the radiation from our phones, from 5G, from you go through the airport and you go through those little like X-ray machines, right? Like it's all built in a way to really break down our bodies, even though there's information that those things are not safe for you. And at the end of the day, the fact that we're alive right now is amazing. Our bodies are able to protect us, and that's really what they're doing. And that's why they're showing these diseases. That's why they're showing these things. They're essentially saying there's something wrong. It's like when you put your hand on a hot stove and you get burnt, and you pull your hand off. That's your body saying, hey, there's something wrong. Right now, our bodies and society is saying there's something wrong. We're getting sick all the time. We're diseased, right? But we're not pulling our hands off the stove. We're just like, oh, well, maybe if we just put an ice pack on top of our hand, we'll be fine. Well, it makes our hand feel a little cooler, but we're still burning our hands at the end of the day, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're not addressing the root cause of the problem. And that root cause of the problem is, like, once we address that, like, start putting actual good food in our bodies, stop poisoning ourselves, stop avoiding our emotions. Because I, just like you know, I was avoiding my emotions. I think we talked about this on one of our podcasts, right?
We
Like,
did, yeah.
we were just both start crying at random times because these emotions were just so ready to come out. And that's just the way society's set up. Oh, if you're a man, you can't cry. You know, and a lot of times people would tell their kids, stop crying. You're okay. We don't tell our kid that. We don't tell them, oh, you're okay. We say, it's okay. We're here for you. Right. Like, we want him to feel his emotions. If he feels like he needs to cry, that's amazing. That's what he should do. And we're just there for him. That's really at the end of the day. Right. We don't ever tell him you're okay. Like, what if he's not okay? Right. Like, at the end of the day, that's why we just repress our emotions, because we're told, oh, stop being a baby. Oh, stop crying. Oh, you know, but at the end of the day, there's a reason why we're crying. We got to let it out. We got to feel that emotion. And so, you know, we got to address what's going on. Then we got to change the root cause of what's going on. And you can't, unfortunately, you can't really address what's going on. You can't find out what's going on inside you if you're always watching TV, if you're always scrolling through social media, if you're always high on marijuana, if you're always drunk or on caffeine, right? Then you're going to be out of the mind state. We're not going to be able to focus and go inwards because you're just an altered state of mind. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's distraction. All of these things are here to distract you from yourself. That's why they're here. Limiting those distractions is like the perfect way to start going inward instead of going outward. It's absolutely spot on. It's like once I stopped distracting myself and sitting with myself, I was then able to feel what I needed to feel. You know, like people just distract themselves, scroll on their phone for 2 or 3 hours, and then they're watching TV for another two or 3 hours after working the job from 9 to 5 that they hate doing. It's like all these things are here to keep you sedated, keep you distracted, keep you low, keep you depressed, weak, keep you in this low state of vibration, just to keep this system going. You know what I mean? Like, it's time that we go inward. We take our deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouth, sit with ourselves, cry it out, feel what we need to feel. And most of the time, you ask your body the question, you'll get the answer each and every time. Because I believe that, you know, people use these things to Google their symptoms and Google all this crap. Well, this tech doesn't exist if we don't exist. Like, it is a reflection of us. We're the actual real cell phone, mobile phone towers. We have all the information inside of us. We have our own Google system inside of us. Like, Tanner, you do some muscle testing to ask your body what it is that it needs to eat for the day. People use Google to do it, mate. People just go, okay, I'm going to Google what I should be eating today. It's like, ask your body, and your body will tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, after this is done, it's lunchtime here. So I'm going to go and make myself, I'm going to have some organic muesli, some whole fruit, have some fruit on the side. That's my lunch. My body said, give me some muesli, give me some real whole food, give me some nuts, give me some fruit. Done. Sweet. Bang. There's my lunch. It's like our bodies tell us. And then that's where the intuitive eating comes from. Like, we all have an intuition that's guiding us in a certain direction of our lives. But we also have intuitive eating, our body's guiding us to the foods that it needs to eat. We don't need Google. We don't need these things. These things are a reflection of us. They're built because this system that this phone's built with, we have it inside of us. That's why it's here, by the way.
I mean, spot on, right? Like, those answers online are not going to be pertaining to you. There's going to be general answers, like all the fad diets we have right now. Oh, vegan diet. Yeah. Oh, only meat. Oh, only this, only that. Right?
Low carbs.
Yeah, there's keto. There's no one diet that works for everyone. Everyone's body needs different nutrients.
People are obsessed with carbohydrates, Tanner.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. I need to lower my carbs. Well, no. Why don't you lower your toxicity?
Mm-hmm.
What are you eating that's causing you to be toxic inside? Exactly. It's not the carbs. Well, it could very well be the carbs, but it's not about carbs. It's about the toxicity It's about the alcohol that you're drinking after you go and work out as your reward for working out. A lot of people work out on Saturday mornings, Tanner. It's very evident in the town I'm in at the moment. A lot of people go to their early morning workout on a Saturday morning and then they're drunk at night.
Yep.
You just wasted all of that good gym work. You've just gone and wasted it away. You've gone and pissed it away.
Mm-hmm. Self-sabotage, right? One
Correct.
step forward, two step back,
Yep.
two steps back. But yeah, I totally agree. The toxicity of your body, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why we have so many obese people, right? Because our bodies naturally process toxins. Like the fact that we're still alive, just goes, and the fact that our bodies are so amazing just goes to show, like it really is amazing. But the reason why we have so many obese people and why we're still alive is because our bodies are able to protect us from these toxins. If our bodies didn't have a good way of protecting us, which really, it would normally go through our kidneys and our liver, when those are overloaded, what happens? Well, those toxins get stored in fat cells as a way to protect us. And you see why there's so many obese people now, because those toxins are overloaded like crazy. Obviously, you can still be unhealthy if you're not obese. You can still be full of toxins. It's just a different, way of going about things. But that's usually, if you're obese, that's because you're usually full of toxins, and that's really the design of the system. That's why we have so many more obese people now than we did back in the day. I mean, that's the reality of it. If you want to start becoming healthier, start unplugging yourself out of the system, a really great step is to just start removing the toxins out of your life. It's a big part to overcome self-sabotage, is to start taking out the negative influences out of your life. That'd be things like the non-organic food, the processed food, the food with the high fructose corn syrup or just corn syrup, right? The artificial food dyes, the alcohol. I mean, alcohol is a neurotoxin, right? When you drink too much of it, you get poison, alcohol poisoning. I mean, it's right there in it, right?
There's no such thing as broccoli poisoning.
Exactly. You don't go to when people want to kill themselves, they go to the medicine cabinet.
They don't go to the vegetable crisper.
Exactly. They don't go to the vegetable crisper. They don't
go and eat a whole carrot or eat a piece of broccoli or a piece of pumpkin. They go on the medicine cabinet and filling themselves with as much as they can and see you later.
Exactly. And really, why?
It's
because
designed
that's poison
to kill you. Correct.
Yep, it's poison. So I mean, there's no system where like a small amount of poison is healthy, right? It's like, if you think so, it's like, okay, well, how about you start taking a little bit of rat poison every single day? You okay with that? Just a little bit in your food. It won't kill you. Well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? No, not necessarily. Poison doesn't make you stronger in any way, unfortunately. Like, it's poison for a reason, right? It's toxic to our bodies. Our bodies can't protect us. There's no doubt.
Everything in moderation, Tanner.
Not everything. Like that's a perfect self-sabotage phrase, right? Like, what do you say to make yourself feel better? Oh, everything in moderation. It's okay. I just have to have a balance. Do you want balance of good and bad things in your life? Do you want bad things in your life? Oh, everything has to have balance. Really? So you want, a lot of death in your life too? Like, do you want a lot of like self-sabotage in your life? Do you want, like, not everything needs a balance.
Here's another one. A treat. Yeah, everyone's programmed to believe that a treat's a piece of chocolate that's got so many food numbers in it that I've actually lost count. Any mainstream chocolate out there has a lot of food numbers in it. Or a treat is a bottle of Coca-Cola or a tub of ice cream. Well, that's not actually a treat. Like, if you're handing that to someone, you're handing them a bottle of poison. So when you wrap a gift of chocolate, here, have some chocolates full of numbers and full of toxins and full of other things in it that we're not going to go into because I'll be considered crazy. But there's a lot of human feces in it as well, and you're handing that to someone. Why don't you make them something? Make them something worthwhile and meaningful that's going to mean something, not handing them a box of poison.
Exactly. I mean, I totally agree with you. Or they call it a reward, right? If you're trying to reward yourself, how about you reward yourself with something that's going to make your life better? Like,
make yourself a nice organic slice or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm doing really good right now in my job. I'm doing really good at doing these things. How about I'm going to buy myself a mountain bike so I can go out, get outside of nature and go mountain biking, right? Make it fun. Put something good into your life give yourself good things, good rewards.
I reckon we should use personal examples. Here's something I used to do. All right. So I used to come home from work. When I used to work in the mainstream schooling system, which I now cannot go back into. But when I used to do that, I used to go out on a Saturday night as my reward for getting through the week, right? Well, now I reward myself with a nice piece of organic or nice big whole organic watermelon. I'm sitting there with a spoon, just mugging it down the sun. That's my reward. That's my treat. It makes me feel good. Sitting out in the sun, eating some watermelon makes me feel good. So if I'm having a hard day or I'm having a, we all get stressed and it's how we deal with it. But if I'm having a hard day, well, I'm not going to turn to those negative things. I'll just go get my watermelon, sit out in the sun, and just ask my body to release the day, and we'll start fresh tomorrow. Yep. I just sit there and just go, I choose to let go of the stress, the anger, the worry, the fear, the guilt, the shame, whatever feelings I have. I choose to welcome in nourishment. I choose to welcome in feelings that make me feel good. So I choose to let go. I choose to welcome in is a really good place to start if you want to start talking to your body. Just let go of those things that are no longer serving you. And it's quite often those negative emotions. You'll quite often catch yourself out saying one of them. So I choose to let go of fear, stress, guilt, shame, and then you might say hate or resentment and go, oh, where'd that come from? It's like, well, that feeling there or that emotion is ready to go. It's ready to be felt, ready to be dealt with, ready to leave. You choose to welcome in love, freedom, peace, happiness, harmony, and joy, and prosperity.
Yeah. I mean, I got the same kind of example where, I would come home from work every day and my reward would be a whiskey and Coke. And it would just be like one or two every day, but it started to become more and more like, oh, I just need to relax. Oh, I had a long day at work. I just want a whiskey and Coke, right? And that was the top, of course, all the marijuana and stuff I was smoking, but like that would be my reward. But think about it, like when you're giving yourself these rewards that are really holding yourself back, you're trying to give yourself a reward because you're stressed and you got through something hard, right? These rewards are actually adding more stress. Maybe not mental stress, they're adding more physical stress to your body, and it just adds back onto your stress load. So you might be trying to resolve the stress, but at the end of the day, it also doesn't actually address the reason why you were stressed, right? Were you stressed because you were in a job you disliked? Were you stressed because you were in the school system? Were you stressed because you didn't, you weren't feeling accomplished? Where you just felt like you were a failure at life, or that you just weren't, important in life? Well,
are you stressed because you're gossiping about people that are I don't know, cheating on their spouses, and you can't wait for the next installment of the Young and the Restless? Like, there are some people out there that just love this gossip crap that will just keep, and it's like, you don't need to cast judgment on these people. Like, the next installment of the Young and the Restless has lying, cheating, and stealing in it. Well, a lot of people out there are living their lives like that, and they're gossiping and they're talking about other people in a negative way. So there's that as well, Tanner, as well.
Oh yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Right,
chuck that on there too.
It's all different forms of stress. Like, there's many different forms of stress, and there are good forms of stress. Don't get me wrong. Like actually working out, going out in the sun, taking a cold shower. There's good forms of stress, but there's also forms of stress that we don't need in our life, right? And we need to start cutting back those forms of stress if we want to start taking back our life. Because if we just keep adding on forms of stress, we're going to get overwhelmed. We're going to get burnt out. We're going to feel like we don't have the energy. We're going to start aging because we're in that stress. Like I'm reading the book now with Dr. Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief. And there's actually an enzyme that our body produces called telomerase, which is really what it does is he equates it to the fountain of youth, right? And what it does is that whenever our cells are reproducing, they start to lose part of the end of their cells. So every time they reproduce, they get shorter and shorter, and then once they get short enough, they stop reproducing. But this enzyme that we're able to produce in our bodies naturally, we can turn it on or off based on our stress responses and the environment and the things we're putting in our life, can actually expand the length of our cell division. So it means they can keep going and keep dividing longer than they would have if they wasn't active. And you know what inhibits it? highly stressful situations,
Of course.
poisonous food, um, like alcohol, things like that. Really, things in our environment, our own mind. If we're very negative, if we have a lot of beliefs that we're aging or that we're like we're like dying or we're going low, we're gonna stop producing. So we need to start changing our mindset. We need to start changing our environment. We need to stop putting all those stresses in our life. If we are stressed out, we need to start addressing that stress, start finding actual good ways of releasing that stress instead of things that are going to add the stress back in. Right. So like for you, I know you'd like to do meditation in the dark. And that's a good way to relieve stress and to address your emotions and things like that. Or you like to go out and you play, what was that?
Play a bit of cricket.
Yeah, cricket. There you go.
Yeah, that's my way of staying in the 3D world. It's good.
Exactly.
I'm
like
doing that.
Find something to go outside. Find some way to connect with yourself. Find some way to actually relax. Right.
Mountain bike riding's good. I go for a mountain bike ride out in nature. I go for a run sometimes. It's whatever my body tells me that it needs. I just go and do. It's like if I need to go for a walk, well, my body will tell me.
Exactly.
I actually did some yoga before I came on here, Tanner.
Nice. I love it.
Delving into some connection with myself. Yoga is quite powerful. It's something I hadn't actually done before. The last few weeks, I've been doing some yoga, and holy dooly, it's good.
Yeah, it's so
really
good. It's a mix of stretching and just like centering your chakras, and I really like it. It's really energy work, right?
Yeah, it basically is. You basically just refilling your cup and stretching out and letting go of stuff. It's actually quite powerful. And some of the poses I do before bed just to it's yoga with Adrian's good. I'll give her a shout out. She's pretty cool. So I do mine through just on YouTube.
I mean, it's a lot more workout than people think it is, right? For like all the guys that they're like, oh, I don't just want to stretch. Well, you do a yoga class and let me tell you if it's workout or not.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's actually improving my flexibility, and everyone out there can't touch their toes. There's a lot of people that can't. I actually couldn't before I started. I can now, Tanner. I can touch my toes now. I'm pretty chuffed with myself, actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super important, right? If you can't touch your toes right now, then you need to look inwards. What are you doing to take care of your health, right? And it's not to make you feel bad, but just to be aware, because we need to be more consciously aware of where we are, right? If you're getting sick all the time, why are you getting sick all the time?
And stretching and connecting with yourself helps you also to let go of those emotions we were just talking about before as well. Like when I'm doing those stretches and stuff, I can, you can feel the tension in your shoulder, you can feel the tension in your neck or the lower back, and you just relax and you just deep breathe and you just let that go. And quite often it's just an emotion. And when you connect with your body, you'll know what it is because you'll get the word. It'll be either a bit of stress or a bit of anger or something. You'll get it in your body and you'll just relax it and release it in the yoga pose. And you just feel so good to just let it all go. It's awesome.
I mean, I'm a firm believer that those emotions are stored in our body, right?
Absolutely, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
I mean,
and if they're not dealt with, as Paul Lindard says, they cause cancer.
Yep. And usually they'll go to the part of your body that's hurt already, right? Because nature always goes the path of least resistance, right?
Yep.
So if you have a hurt knee and you start getting stressed out a lot and your knee starts hurting, there's a reason why. It's because your
back.
Going
your back
your
too.
back.
Yeah, that's where you carry the weight. On your shoulders. Some people out there might be feeling that they're carrying the weight of the world or the weight of the family. Well, quite often you'll have sore shoulders if you're feeling like that, because spiritually and physically you're literally carrying the weight of your family on you, and that's where you'll like a weight off your shoulders saying comes from. You release that tension and release that stress, well then you're not going to have the weight of the world on your shoulders anymore.
Yeah, spot on. I mean, it's what you tell yourself, it's what you're thinking about, it's what you believe, right?
Yeah, it all starts
your mind is powerful. And they did a study where they had two different groups of people. One group was working out and one group of people were just imagining themselves working out. People who imagined themselves worked out, all they did was just like close their eyes and just imagine themselves working out. They didn't even do any workouts, and they got almost the same muscle gains as the people who were working out.
Wow.
It's our minds are powerful. Like on the days I don't work out, I imagine myself doing a workout.
I am going to start doing that now. Thank you.
Yeah. It's awesome. And then I also tell myself, oh, I'm going to gain extra muscle today. I just tell myself that. And I've actually been seeing, like, I started working out again recently. And I'm gaining more muscle, like the fastest I've ever gained muscle.
Yeah,
I have, part of it is probably due to, the food, the actual nutrition I'm putting in my body, but part of it also, I think, is just the mindset and what you're telling yourself, right? Because your mind is extremely powerful. I mean, your mind controls your body, right? Your subconscious mind actually controls all bodily functions. It controls when you have to go to the bathroom, you get that urge to go to the bathroom. That's your subconscious mind saying your urge to go to the bathroom. It's electrical impulses, right? That's why you can do. That's why you can do muscle testing and you can get a yes or no answer, because your mind is actually answering to you. And it's not like your subconscious mind hates you or is trying to punish you or trying to sabotage you. It's the greatest love story ever told, like Jason says, right? It loves you and it's trying to do its best to protect you and save you. So that's why it will tell you yes or no answers on what you should be eating. That's why it will give you the correct information on, like, hey, you should probably be eating chicken today or not chicken today, right? That's why when you ask yourself, and you don't always have to do muscle testing to do it, like Nathan's has the ability now where he can just think about it and he can get that information, right? I can do the same thing when I close my eyes. I can get a yes or no response in my, it just pops up in my head when I ask my question. Because once you start to build that connection with yourself, you start to become more in tune. But if you want to be able to build that connection, you got to get the system out of you. You got to get the caffeine. You got to get the alcohol. You got to get that poisonous food out of you, because without it, you're just going to be like in a mind daze. Your mind's not going to be working the way it should. And that's your most number one important asset, to be able to make money, to be able to be successful in life, to be able to find a loving partner, to be able to break free from the system and help other people break free from the system.
Yeah. And it's also connecting with yourself and just unpacking some of these emotions that have been sitting there for quite a long time. A lot of these emotions and stuff have been sitting there since childhood. And for some of us, it's quite a long time to be sitting and having that suppressed for so long. And when you ask questions to your body, we can always ask it those questions too, because then those emotions will start to come out.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. And I feel like people, there's such thing as repressed emotions, right? You don't even know what, like, things happened in your childhood because we blocked it out of our mind for so long.
No, but our subconscious has done that to protect us, but we can go inside and unpack that. And quite often, there's some things that I've done over the last few weeks, Tanner, that sum this up. Like, I'm walking proof that I actually repressed some stuff recently, and I've been writing some letters to some people and walking the path of forgiveness. Well, when I was writing that letter, some things came up that I'd completely forgotten about. But in the moment when I was crying and doing those healing, powerful things, that those memories came back because I was ready to face them.
Yep.
There's some stuff that came up when I was like 2 or 3 years old, and I'm like, jeepers. But I got the vision in, like, you imagine it, and it's like happened like right there and then, and you just see that child sitting there, and you just want to sit with it and just hold it, and it's seen, it's heard, it's loved. Yeah, I'm walking proof that you can actually ask your body, and they can actually show you some of these things.
Well, definitely. I mean, and it's a good point you make, right? When you're ready, it's gonna come to you, right? I think a lot of people like address a lot of self-sabotage and get all really good, other than all of a sudden they're like, wait, I still have some dark things I haven't addressed yet. Like, it still comes up. It's because your subconscious mind had to repress those. It's ready. Like, it knows when you're a child, if these things had come up and you had to face them when you were a child, it could have broken you. You could have stopped your will to live. So it represses them. When you become an adult and you actually in your true adult power, that's when you're ready to face it, and it will come out towards you.
Yep.
And you will start to feel that again. But unfortunately, a lot of us are not allowing our true adult power to come out, right? We're still living as children in adults' bodies, professional teenagers, right?
Yep.
Like,
proteins.
We're still partying on the weekends, even though we're 30 plus years old, right? We're still just non-stop scrolling through our social medias and not working on our side business. We're not working to get out of the job that we hate, right? You're not meant to live in a job that you hate. You're not meant to be pissing away your life. You need to start taking, like, if you don't know what you want to do in life, you don't have a purpose in your life, if you don't have a dream, there's something wrong. There's a reason why you're feeling empty. There's a reason why you're feeling like this place is not like where you want to be living right now. It's because you've created that. It's unfortunate to say, but if someone here is listening and they're feeling depressed, they're feeling like their life is shitty right now, you got to come to the realization that you took the actions to get to where you are. And you got to acknowledge that. And then you got to start taking different actions. You got to become more aware, like we were talking about, sit with your emotions and like, how did I get here? Forgive yourself for doing it, for getting there, but then start taking different actions. If you're not going to take different actions, then none of it's going to change, right? You're going to keep getting the same exact stuff. It's going to get worse and worse, likely.
Yeah, and go back. If you're out there and you don't have a dream, it's actually quite a simple thing. Go back to when you're a child and think about what it is that you wanted to do in life that you want to do as a child. Quite often we had these dreams as children. I had a dream of being a writer as a child, and I'm about to achieve that dream, and it's going to be something really, really special for me. Quite often as children, we had these dreams, but as soon as we were told by quite often the teacher or unfortunately your parents as well, that you're not able to do that, you can't do that, you can't be this, you need to be something else. You repress that dream. But I can guarantee you that if you're watching this right now and you're feeling like that, go back to when you're a child and when you had that very first dream of what you wanted to be, go back and do it. Or not go back and do it. Step forward and do it. Be that person you wanted to be as a child, and your life will instantly change.
If you don't know what you're...
As soon as I unpacked why I suppressed and repressed my writing ability, and once I unpacked it again, it was showtime. It was go time. I was back on the path. It is unbelievable how powerful that inner child work is, because you'll go back and you'll unpack what it is that you want it to be, but you'll also deal with what happened in terms of when you first suppressed it and repressed it. You can cry that out. You can let that go. You can let that dream come back, and then you can make it reality, because that's how powerful this is. I'm walking proof of it.
It's powerful. What about for the people that they never had their dream because maybe the system has suppressed it? I feel like at that point, you just got to look inwards, right? You got to ask yourself.
Look inwards, your body and your subconscious, spirit, whoever, like we can go deep into it, like spirit. There's something there that will tell you what it is that you can be doing. Like there isn't, we have an inner voice, we have inner guidance, there's a spiritual component to this too. You can do some energy work, you can do some, some healings and stuff, and you can unpack the reason why you're here. It's stored in the subconscious. That's where it's all stored. You can unpack that, and you can actually understand and realize and have that epiphany or that aha moment and go, oh, that's why I'm here. Okay, how am I of service now? It can happen quick, but there's emotions there and there's blockages there, but we can remove and shift those. It's so powerful because the inner voice I had for so long was telling me to stop drinking and chasing girls. I listened to that inner voice, and then the inner voice said, you wanted to be a writer when you were a kid, but a teacher told you to stop writing about sport and you were writing about boring things, so you just stopped writing. Well, that's why I repressed my writing, because a teacher told me to stop writing about sport. She told me to stop writing about things that I actually enjoyed writing about and instead write about stuff that was just crap. Like, I can't remember what it was. It was so shit, honestly. But once I dealt with that and faced that and unpacked it, I can actually write about whatever it is that I actually want to write about. That dream just ignited again. I was like that little kid in school writing about sport again. It was unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example of how the school system is holding us back, right? Or how the system's holding us back.
Yeah, they want you to just retell, rewrite, recall the bullshit that they're feeding you, basically. And if a kid wants to write about the time he had on the weekend when he was outside playing in the dirt, oh, nah, you little Johnny can't write about that. He needs to start writing information reports and stories. Like, yeah, the kid can write stories, but it's quite often a topic that you give them and the kid's not interested in it. Quite often a kid will have his own topics to write about. The kid hates writing because he hates the stuff you're giving him to write, or she.
Yep.
Most kids love to write, but they hate writing the stuff that they're being fed.
Spot on. And actually, I used to like to write too when it was just like random stories I like to do.
Yeah,
And then
when
I
the
started
teacher
being
gave you the
forced.
freedom for it, though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even the teacher. I just wrote some stories on my own, and then I started getting forced to do it in school, and I didn't like to do it anymore. Kind of same
Yeah,
with books too, right? You get forced to read books that you don't want to read. Um,
correct.
when you should just be like, they should encourage you just to read a book in general,
Yeah,
right? Why does it
yeah,
matter if you read whatever book they want you to read?
yeah. Spot on.
It's
And
just
that's
like,
why, and then those kids that don't want to do it are labeled with all this shit, autism and ADHD and obsessive defiance and all this crap. It's like none of this shit existed 100 years ago because kids were doing what they wanted to do. As soon as they brought this school system in, all this shit started. Yeah, some of the jabs and most of the jabs cause autism as well, but a lot of this autism rubbish is just a kid that doesn't want to fucking be there.
you know,
I actually spoke to a kid the other day. This is interesting. I was walking into some classrooms because I had to tell some kids that they had some after school programs, that they had after school care. So I was just walking in there and I sat with one of the kids that comes in and they were doing some writing. I don't know what the heck they were writing about, but I just said to him, he just looked disengaged, disinterested. He was looking out the window and that. I just went over to him. I said, "Hey mate, how you going? What, do you like what you're doing?" He goes, "Nah." I said, "Well, what would you rather be doing right now?" He goes, "I'd rather be outside playing in the dirt than doing this shit." And I just laughed and said, "I'm bloody with you, mate. I wouldn't want to be doing this shit either." It's like the kids know that it's time to change.
Mhm.
They know, mate. Especially the ones that have got the autism and the ADHD and the ODD and all these bullshit labels. Those kids know, they know that they don't want to be there and it's
Oh
time to
yeah.
change.
I
And that
mean,
just sort of ignited my passion into this bush school. It's like I could just I could just grab that kid and be like, "Hey, mate," talk to the family like, "Hey, I'm building something pretty cool over here. How about you come and do this instead?"
you
And
need to.
we'll start showing you the right way.
People are looking for it.
They are. I know they are.
You gotta give them some options now.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
that
it's
you know
time.
this, yeah, it's
I do
time.
know this. I know it's time. It's definitely time, mate.
Yeah,
Some of the
that
kids, I talk to kids, I talk to children and families a lot in the field of work that I'm in, and change is needed because this system's falling over and it's run its course, and the change is needed. But we're the ones bringing the change, you know?
exactly. Like,
There's no savior coming. There's no second coming of Jesus, guys, all right? If none of that's going to happen. We're the second coming of Jesus because Jesus is inside of us if you want to get religious.
yeah, we gotta
Where
change the system,
it's
right?
like it's like this old saying, it's like be the change you want to see in the world. Well, we can be that change. That's how powerful we are. Ponder that, Tanner.
Yeah, right on. I mean, we gotta change. We gotta change. We can't rely on the system to change. The
Nah, we
system got
can't.
us here, and
Yeah.
the more power it gains, the more corruption is going to get. The more power, like the way governments have worked in the past, the more power it gains, the worse and worse it's going to get. And if you
Yeah,
see all
spot on.
the past laws, all the things they've been doing with COVID, it's all grabs for more and more power, right? They're shutting
Yeah.
down businesses. They're shutting down, telling people they can't make their living. Like when your talk with Adrian, right? He had to shut down his skate park that he had a dream of building for people so that people wouldn't get bullied while they're out there, while they can, go in and have a good time while doing it. And that got shut down by the government, right?
Yep.
So if we're going to allow the system to do this to us, like, then it's going to keep happening.
They shut down things that were good for us too.
Yeah.
Didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
Everything that was good for you, that was like local and fresh and healthy, they closed down. Just ponder this if you're still a little bit asleep. All right. They shut down those local stores that were good for us. Just ponder this. Why'd they keep Macca's, KFC, Subway, fucking what's the donut thing called? Donut King and all those processed shit foods, and the alcohol stores too, by the way. Oh, and the brothels. You weren't allowed to you weren't allowed to gather in a park, but you go to a brothel and you can have as many people in there and have a massive orgy.
Wow.
Like here in Australia, they actually kept the brothels open. So it's like, okay. So ponder this. They shut everything down that was good for you, that was healthy, like the gyms and that. But you could go to a brothel, you could go to the alcohol store, you could still go to your Woolies, you can still go to your Coles, and you guys have what's the big one called? Walmart. Ponder this. Why did they keep those toxic because they're just arms. Well, they are just arms of the government too, but they're all owned by the same corporation. If you want to talk conspiracy theories, it's not actually a conspiracy theory. It's actually true. But why did they keep those Why did they keep those open? Why could you just go and drive through the drive-through and get your chicken and chips that was deep fried, cooked in shit oil, cooked in crap processed food? But they shut down the local organic fresh produce.
It's essential for the system to keep going, right? When they say it's essential.
Oh yeah, they deemed it essential. Yeah. Oh, that was a big buzzword.
When they say it's essential, it's not essential for us. It's not essential for our health. It's essential for the system to keep going. That's really what it is. And these other that's really what they were saying there, right? These other small businesses, all the small business owners, all the healthy food, that's not essential to the system they've created. Right. No. And that's actually, I just thought about that. That's a perfect example, right? These things are not, they don't consider these things essential. Like they even said it like themselves, like no one has to make this up. This ain't no conspiracy theorists. They said these things are not essential. They said gyms are not essential. They said organic food's not essential. They say going to the park and going into the sunshine is not essential.
Gathering with your friends is not essential.
Alcohol. You gotta have your alcohol. That's essential. People will go mad in this because people will start to wake up to what's going on in the society if they don't have their alcohol, right? People start to wake up if they don't have their coffee and donuts. People start to wake up if they don't have their Walmarts and their KFCs and their Subways. They have to make their own food. Oh no.
See how this system out there, guys, for those that are listening, see how this system's designed on dependency. They're making you so dependent on them that as soon as they shut something down, they take that away. And people are stuck with, I don't know how to do these things for myself, because we'll go back to it again. It was never taught in school. Like, this system is not teaching you anything to do with life they're programming you to believe that life's a certain way. Life can be whatever we want it to be, but they're programming you to be a cog in a system and building someone else's dream, and to not learn any of this stuff, to not learn how to cook for yourself, how to clean. Like, none of this stuff's taught, and it's so wrong. It's so wrong. If you're still sending your kid to school, I'm sorry, but you're doing them you're doing them harm right now. You really are. Yeah. And I know some people don't have a choice, but I'm telling you, in the next 10 or 15 years, there will be a choice, because I'm making it my sole mission to provide something better for humanity and for our children out there. Because right now, this system is so backwards.
I feel like there's almost always a choice. Though, right?
If all adults above the age of 20 dropped off the planet tomorrow, our kids won't know how to survive.
No. I mean, most of us wouldn't know how to survive if we didn't have our grocery stores, right? Most of us don't know how to grow our own food. Grow something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, so like we're not taught that. So we're not taught how to take a seed and plant it and nurture it.
Show us some love. Yeah, exactly. Nurture it. Yep. Yeah.
We're not taught that information. We're not taught any of that, right? But I mean, right on your point, I think there is always a choice. Even now, when there's like not schools like that, there's homeschooling options. There's groups of people who are trying to get outside the system. So if you think there's nothing out there, there's ways to connect with these people on the internet. I know people I spoke to, I think her Anna Griot. She lives in Australia too. She's another self-sabotage coach. She was telling me about how during the pandemic, she searched for other homeschooling groups because they were looking for people to get out of the system, take their kids out of the system. And she had found some on people who were making groups on Facebook. Those Facebook groups got banned, but they all were able to connect before that happened, right? So they were all able to connect before that happened. They created that homeschooling group. So there's always a way. There's always a way. There's people who are looking for the same thing as you. So, but the thing is, you're not going to find those things if you're staying quiet. You're not going to find those things if you're always high, if you're always drunk, if you're always just distracted on social media or Netflix or the next show that they're released, right? You got to take time to start moving towards that life you want, to detach from the system, get the system out of you so you can start to really fight the system. I think
we've got to start.
Right?
We've got to start giving our kids something better to mirror, mimic, and copy. Because right now, our kids are mirroring us. Well, I don't have any kids yet, but kids out there are mirroring and mimicking you. If you aren't the best version of yourself, if you're drunk every weekend, if you're smoking, if you're watching porn, if you're doing all of these things, you're programming your child to be exactly like you. And I'll go back to this analogy that Jason said only a couple of weeks ago. I'm starting to use it now. It's so true. If you think about this next time you have a piece of crap food or an alcoholic drink or something that's, going to cause some toxic harm to you, just think about this. Would you give that to a 4-year-old? The answer is no. So then why are you giving it to yourself?
Some people might. I don't know. At least down here in America, I've seen them give their 4-year-olds Mountain Dew and stuff like that. So it's sad. It's getting worse and worse, right?
It is, yeah.
But I completely agree with you, because I would never give my kid that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, alcohol, you're right. Most people, I mean, actually, some people give their toddlers alcohol to like help with their teething and stuff, which is just crazy to me.
It is. It's unbelievable.
But I mean, really, what you guys got to think about is like, you don't want to be putting things in your body that's going to be harming you, right? There's no, oh, just a small amount's okay. Just moderation and key, right? Oh, you only live once. At the end of the day, you live every single day.
And you die once.
Yep, you die once.
Wow, our physical body only dies once. Our soul lives forever. But yeah, if you want to go spiritual.
Yeah, you live every single day.
Yep.
And what you do, the actions you take determines the quality and life. And your lifespan is really what it is. You need to start taking better actions. And spot on with the kids stuff, because I have a kid of my own, 10 months old. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot. And that's also like a big part of the reason why I did these things for me, but it's been an even bigger fire and motivator for me, knowing that he's watching everything I'm doing, right?
Oh, he's watching, all right.
Oh, yeah.
If he's not watching, the subconscious is listening. If he's not watching, the subconscious is listening.
Mm-hmm. He's literally like, kids are sponges. People say that all the time, right? Kids are sponges. They learn so quick. There's a reason why when you teach a kid a language between the ages of 2 and 7, they will learn it much quicker than after that, right? Because their subconscious mind's on hyperdrive. It's always pulling that information in. That's why we really need to be careful what we're letting our kids learn, whether it be through TikTok, through the school system. And I think it really does come down to the kids, right? It comes down to the kids, because that's the future generation. We notice that each generation, it seems to get more and more discombobulated. And that's due to the system, right? That's just the way the system's designed. They're slowly making it worse and worse.
They are.
Through the entertainment system, through the school system. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they are. And it's so evident too. It's like they're really pumping out this transgender LGBTIQ stuff now as well. It's like they're putting this in schools. Like, you're going to have drag queens come out and read stories to your children. Do you want that? Because I know I don't. And also, like, all this gender shit, like, they're actually teaching kids that there's, like, I don't know, 100 different genders and 100 different sexualities. It's unbelievable, mate. And it's so in your face. Like, the last few days, some of the stuff that's come out. Hooey-dooey.
Yep, and they're teaching kids that if you're white, you're automatically a racist. You're born racist. It's like, that
in America is bad, man.
That the critical race theory, that is racist in itself. Like,
yes, that's how satanic this is. Yeah,
you don't beat racism with more racism. That's not the way it works. That's what the system wants, right? The system always wants some kind of division. So we're not distracted. So we're distracted, not focusing on what's really going on, whether it's between Republican and Democrat, between male, female, between blacks and whites, between whatever, right? There's always some kind of division they're pushing. You can
gays
see
and straights, male and female.
Gays and straights.
They're only doing it. They're only doing it because if humanity out there found any of this stuff out, our attention doesn't turn to each other; it turns to them, and they know it, and that's why it's here.
Yep.
All this stuff's here to bring about confusion, distraction, sedation. Because if we all found out, they're done.
Spot on.
They know it.
I mean, what happens when we're confused, right? When we're confused, what's the technique of a hypnotherapist or for someone who puts you in hypnosis? They confuse you. That's one of the techniques. If you get confused, right now, your conscious mind gets taken offline. If you get put in fear, your conscious mind gets taken offline. If you're drinking coffee all the time, your conscious mind is getting taken offline. It's more going to be subconscious.
And then that authority figure comes in They tell you there's a lockdown tomorrow and you must wear masks and you need to comply. Like comply is one of those words, isn't it? If you want to go real into it with the hypnotherapy stuff, comply, obey, and order is like, it's what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
What they have been doing. Yep.
Yep. I mean, they're authority figures where we rank those as more important. We follow the rules of the authority figures. I think less and less people are doing that now at this point. I think and I think we should talk about this because there is a lot more people waking up at this point, right? Like if
There
you
is.
I remember when I first started looking at this information and it was much different. Like there is a big expansion of it. So I there is really good hopes. I don't want it to be all doom and gloom because there is a lot of good things coming out, but we need you more than ever to continue that progress. The more you stand up, the more you start speaking your, and if you want to come speak about it, me and Nathan would love to have you guys on our podcast. Reach out to us.
On.
You guys want to come talk about what's going on in your life, your self-sabotage, the corruption that you're seeing or the way you're standing up, come on to our podcast. We'll love to have you guys on. Because more people to speak up, the better, really is what it is. Or if you guys want us on your podcast, if you guys are going to start a podcast, more power to you. Start a podcast, invite us on, or just get people on the podcast. Don't be so scared of going out and speaking in front of people. I think both me and Nathan, before we started the podcast, at some point in our lives, had that belief that we weren't good public speakers, that we were scared of doing it. But you really just got to get out there.
I was also scared to be different.
Yeah. Be scared to be different, to be ridiculed.
This information, you've seen all the conspiracy theorists and how they get bloody hounded and stuff. It's like, yeah, no, I didn't really want that. But it's like, just speak your truth and just speak about what is true to you and your core values, and you'll be okay. Yeah. People sometimes won't understand what it is that you're actually doing, but the ones that do, that's who you're doing it for, are the ones that are just like sort of like halfway there, not really there, the ones that are going to spark some light into someone. If you can be that spark for someone, that's so powerful.
Yeah. I think that comes down to knowing who you are, right? Because if you're not willing to stand for the things that you believe in, or you don't have anything that you really believe in that much,
what
you're
do you
going to
stand for?
Yeah, what do you stand for? That's really who you are, right? You have different hair color, you can have a different name, you can be sick or not sick, you're still the same person.
Yeah, just be you.
Really who you are is your personality and the things that you stand for. What are you willing to stand your ground for and say no more, right? Because we need more of that. If you don't know what that is, it's time to start figuring that out, because there's going to become a line here soon where they're going to
reach out and ask for help.
They're pushing that down too, like with the whole COVID stuff. Like that was a testing grounds, right? To see how much power can they take, how much things can they force on people. This next time, the more of us that stand up, the better. And say, no, we're not standing for this. And yeah, reach out for help if you have any questions about self-sabotage or just taking your life back on track, or finding your purpose or feeling your emotions again, right? Because all these things we've been through. And I'm a big believer in, you go out and heal yourself, you go out and address your core issues, and then you go out and help other people do the same. And that's how we heal the world. Start inwards and go outwards and start sharing with other people.
Start raising your frequency. Just conscious awareness. Alcohol lowers it. Supermarket food lowers it. All these toxins, all these chemicals, all these distractions, they all lower your vibration, and they can put you in a state of fear. They can put you in a state of whatever they want, really. But at the end of the day, just start being conscious on what's raising your vibration and what's lowering it, and really work hard in removing that. But you've also got to remove the emotional attachment that you may have to it too. It's like you need your chocolate because you're worried or stressed about something. It's like, well, why don't you remove that worry and stress, and the chocolate goes? Remove the emotional, work on the emotional, and work out what the emotional attachment is to that certain thing. Deal with the emotion and deal with the stress, or and that will remove the physical chocolate or porn or junk food. For me, porn was just the need for sex, or the need to be safe, and it was also my own self-worth and my own self-love. I didn't feel like I was ever worthy of love. Once I worked out that and dreamt and cried that I was worthy of love, and that my self-worth, and that I'm just pure love. Like, we're all just pure love. Once I learned that I am, what was I saying? I can, what was I saying? I am safe to be loved and to love. Once I knew that deeply and really felt that and understood my own self-worth, porn's gone. Not here. It's not, it doesn't have the same I don't resonate with it. It's a lower vibration now. I don't have the emotional attachment to it anymore, because I am worthy and I am enough. And so are you.
Yep. I love it. That's important. Like, you're enough right now, how you are this very moment. And I mean, I think that really wraps it up, right? Focus on taking your life back. Cut out the system out of your life and start putting in things that you want in your life instead. You know, stop doing what other people told you. Yeah, stop doing what other people told you.
And exactly. replace those negative habits or those negative things with something better. So replace the porn with something else. Replace the alcohol with some kombucha or some water or something hydrating and nourishing. Replace the junk food with some almonds and some fruit and veggies and some organic, real whole food. Replace the TV with a podcast like ours, or go and find your own. Listen to the Living in the 40 with Paul Check. Go and find some podcasts that you can distract yourself with, but also learn something about yourself. Because some of the information shared in all these podcasts that are out there on self-help teach you something about yourself that you may not already know. And that's why they're here. Turn the TV off and start educating it. Maybe turn the TV off and start watching some documentaries on what's going on in the world. There's heaps of them. Jason shared about 100 the other day. There's 100 documentaries out there or more that are telling you and showing you from doctors, scientists, and all these people that are being censored of what's going on in the world. So maybe go and educate yourself on that for a start. Like, you know, you don't have to watch a show about lying, cheating, and stealing. Go and watch a documentary on what the Teflon pans are doing, what the microwave food's doing, what the fluoride in the water's doing. Go and build your knowledge about how much poison's out there, and then start to make change.
Exactly. I mean, ignorance is not bliss, right?
Correct.
What you don't know can and will hurt you. So if you don't take action now and start learning, then that's really, at the end of the day, that's going to be something you chose. So if you're going to continue taking the same actions, you're going to get the same results. So at the end of the day, if you start trying to take different actions and you find yourself sabotaging, reach out to us.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Reach out. There's so much help out there on the internet. So reach out to someone at least. Like, please, like, do it for yourself. You deserve the help.
You're not alone. You're never alone. You're never alone. And we can help you understand that you're never alone. And we can just have a Zoom chat just like this too. I offer free one-on-one Zoom consults. We can just have a chat like this. If you're feeling low, if you're feeling stuck, depressed, sad, just reach out. We'll send you a Zoom link, and you know, we can figure out what's going on and offer you some advice to start your journey. And that's free of charge.
Exactly. Yep. We're always here for you. We're always here to listen.
Yeah.
All you need to do is reach out. That's the first step. There's nothing shameful in asking for help. What's really more shameful is knowing there's something wrong and doing nothing about it.
Yep.
So take action. At least get off the couch. Stop putting the potato chips in your show your face full of potato chips, and
stop getting drunk every Saturday night and throwing and pushing each other into the bushes and acting like children and having casual meaningless sex. Find that love for yourself. And then once you find that love for yourself, you can find that love for another person.
Right on.
Stop being an adult child. Take that rite of passage from child to adult. Adult up, level up, stand up. Let's go. Come on. We can do this.
Yep.
That's why we're all here.
Perfect. Yeah, and make sure you guys like this and share it and comment, because it really does help boost the algorithms, right? And me and Nathan will both keep an eye on the videos so we can respond to your comments, and don't hesitate to reach out. We got our descriptions, or in the
emails are down there. Our email addresses are there. Yeah.
Our email address, our websites, our social medias. So if you're looking for more information, join us, and our telegrams if you want to join in those as well.
Yeah.
So, we are here for you. There's plenty of information out there. Really, at this point, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the system. So doing nothing, that's self-sabotage. Take
But
new
there's only
actions,
something wrong.
get something better.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're working just as designed.
Mhm.
Give yourself a hug that you made it this far. Because if you've watched this and you've understood that there's a lot going on at the moment in terms of poisons and stuff, you've done well to get here. Now it's time to start making some change. And that's where we can come in and help you with that. Because we're still living through it too. We're just a couple of steps ahead, and that's okay.
Yep. Right on. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap that up here. It was about a good stop to wrap it up. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Nathan. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
You too, mate.
I know we'll be on again soon. And yeah, guys, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always here.
We are.
Thank you.